It's the season of gifting, and Samsung is making you the offer of the season. Look cool and feel good when you step out this Christmas. Get your crystal clear sound from your favorite artist, and HD quality screen pictures and movies. Yes, you can have it all.
Thank you very much for joining us on News 360 tonight. As always, it is live from our news hub here at Bessesaka Project in Accra. My name is Aisha Yakubu Khalid.
And I am Komla Adoma. Top stories this evening.
News 360 headlines is brought to you by Delegates acrylic paint, Heaven insecticide spray and coil,
Kel charcoal toothpaste,
and Apart Foods.
My Life Insurance.
President Akufo-Addo cautions NPP against unhealthy competition, which could hinder parties' chances to break 8-year cycle in next general elections.
Mino proposal to have Nasara representation at the NPP's electoral college has been expunged.
Also coming up, 3.6 million Ghanaians representing 12% of population are food insecure according to Food Security and Vulnerability Analysis.
And on the international front, people across Sudan join mass protests over military's takeover as they mark 3rd anniversary of popular uprising. We have details of these stories and more, including sport and entertainment, if you stay with us over the next 60 minutes. Remember, we're on DSTV channel 279 across all our social media platforms. It's TV3 Ghana.
We're starting off with the NPP's National Delegates Conference, and President Akufo-Addo has cautioned the NPP against unhealthy competition, which could hinder the party's chances to break the 8-year cycle in the next general elections. Addressing the party's Delegate Conference in Kumasi, he expressed his determination to hand over power to the party's next presidential candidate after the 2024 general elections.
Let us remember one thing, that every step that we take from now to 2024 is going to be decisive for whether we win in 2024 or not. Competition, we cannot avoid competition. Competition there will be, but let that competition help the party and not hinder the party so that we can break the 8 in 2024. The 2024 election is for us to lose. If we conduct ourselves well, we remain united, and we have a level playing field so that the party can make its choice of its leader and all the other executives, and we come together, we unite. I want to be able on the 7th of January 2025 to go to Black Star Square in Accra and hand over the baton of government to the next MPP presidential candidate. We want to break the 8, not just for ourselves, but for Ghana, because we know the zigzag. MPP comes and cleans the Ogian stables only for them to be polluted. This is not the way progress will be brought to our country. We need a secure period in office to make that irreversible change in the fortunes of our nation. We will get a candidate that will unify our party, and all of us will campaign to make that candidate the next president of the republic in my shoes. Osono on Namkwaso Oba Gigim.
Meanwhile, Majority Leader Osei Sabonsu has urged the NPP to explore other means by which parties in more established democracies resort to, including consensus, acclamation, persuasion, and even rotations to elect their leaders. Addressing the party's delegates conference in Kumasi, the Swama MP noted the internal elections have created fractionalism and tore the party apart over the years, and proposed that the incumbent MPs be allowed to contest the 2020 primaries unopposed.
If there is one process that often inflicts wounds on the party, it is our parliamentary primaries. We should recognize that the parliamentary party today is at a critical juncture, at a precipice, and if we don't handle the process of choosing our parliamentary candidates well, and end up losing more than one half of our sitting MPs, as we did in 2020, if we do not stop the intrigues that have started in the backyards of sitting members of parliament, even in these early days, Mr. President, there will be tragic consequences for the party in 2024. In this regard, I would want to propose to the party that the constituencies should be encouraged to the largest extent possible to adopt the incumbent members of parliament for the purpose of the next general elections as any free-for-all election that is not guided or guarded will take over our great party. It is the reason why I reiterate the call for introspection and reflection, especially how we conduct our parliamentary primaries. Those of us herein assembled have the power to dim the light of the party and blow it apart. Which direction shall we follow? The lies, the hatred, the uncharitable deeds that we inflict on ourselves would certainly not advance the cause of this great Dankwabuzia Dombo tradition.
The NPP's Constitution Review Committee will now work on 53 proposals out of 91 for adoption at the party's next Congress. The proposal to have NASA representation at the polling station level has been expunged, while that of the duration for the election of presidential candidates has been put aside for broader consultation. A member of the NPP Constitution Review Committee, Joseph Dindiok Pemka, has been speaking to my colleague William Evansinkum.
The committee actually recommended 53 of the 91 motions, right? So it is based on this that conference has mandated us to go back and fine-tune it and submit same to National Executive and for approval by National Council, so that the next conference will adopt whatever we would have come out with. You know, because otherwise we couldn't have moved 91 motions. It would have taken a day or two to be able to do that. So it is for the sake of the convenience of the party, time, to save time, and also to make sure that at the end of the day, the party becomes the winner. So we go and do the technical work and let the National Executive Committee and National Council approve of it. It becomes integrated into the party's constitution.
Well, let's settle on the 53 motions, as you rightly mentioned. Now, we know that there has been some proposal that, for instance, the duration for which a flag bearer is elected should be extended from 11 months to 24 months. Was that particular motion considered?
Well, very well. It was one of the hottest ones that we looked at, because we had two proposals, one for 18 months and one for 24. And they all gave their policy rationale to justify why we ought to go for 18 or 24. And basically, what they sought to do was that it was meant to ensure that when we have the Congress to elect the flag bearer, the fallouts, we use the first 6 months or 1 year to resolve the differences and have a clear year to what? Go ahead and do the real politics itself. So that was the basis. But I can tell you that it was one of the ones that we considered. You know, it was one of that we considered.
One of the 53.
The 53, but in the end, National Executive Committee did not agree with that bit of it at that particular stage.
So it is hanging.
It is still hanging. And when we go back and we make our fine-tuning, National Executive Committee and National Council will have a final say on that issue.
Well, in as much as it is hanging, we still want to know, is it the 18-month that is hanging or the 24-month that is hanging?
Quite frankly, no decision has been taken on both 18 and 24 months. So the status quo remains until otherwise directed. And remember that this motion that we moved today was for National Executive Committee to empower us to go back, and National Conference to empower us to go back to sieve whatever we have and submit it to National Executive Committee and National Council. That's the power given to us. We are going to do that and report back to conference next year so that they will adopt whatever we have come out with and it will become part of the Constitution.
Well, we are still dealing with the 53, of course. I'm sure one other proposal that has also generated some level of discussion has to do with the Nasara. Expanding Nasara at the polling station level.
The straight answer to that. Yeah. The committee rejected expanding Nasara to every polling station.
Okay.
We rejected it outright. All that we have done is change of nomenclature. Okay. We are saying that Nasara coordinators should become Nasara organizers in the various constituencies so that we make it in tandem with the party's avowed aim of ensuring that we have organizers for various facets. So yes, we have accepted that proposal that we should have Nasara organizers in the various constituencies and the region, but not polling stations.
My final question has to do with the former MPs who are also saying they want to be part of the Electoral College.
In fact, it was recommended. We recommended that they will become part of the Electoral College at the constituency level and take part in constituency delegates conferences and then have full rights to vote.
So a lot has been happening in the Ashanti region capital, Kumasi, following the NPP's delegates conference, which just ended a short time ago. Let's get some introspection into this. Political marketing strategist Dr. Kobe Mensah is joining me for a conversation. Thank you, Doc, for joining us. So we just heard there from the conference. Some of the proposals have been deferred to the executive committee. There are others that have been referred for broader consultation, particularly referring to the election of a presidential candidate, just say 2 years to the election. From where you sit, how strategic has this conference been all in a whole?
Well, obviously, the conference, by all indications, seems to have gone well. The party seems to have conducted itself well. The various factions, which, hitherto the conference, people thought they were going to, go against what the party actually, sort of laid out, actually, behaved in the way that the party, really, summoned them to do. So I think that in a whole, it has been a very good, kind of conference for the party, of course.
Okay, now going forward, the majority leader mentioned protection of MPs. So, for example, incumbent MPs during the 2023 primaries, he is advocating by giving some immunity or protection. So they go into the election unopposed. He also lamented, some factions within the party who are working to remove first-time MPs, for example. From where you sit, is this a call that the party should even consider at all?
I think it's highly unnecessary. And to be honest, I think that it goes against the tenets of democracy, especially coming from a party like NPP. I mean, we have always been told that it's a party that actually follows due process. Remember, democracy is a participation of all people. And so if you hold dear the tenets of democracy, why would you actually suggest that some people must be given immunity? Of course, there are others who are actually waiting to ensure that they can contest. There's nothing wrong with making sure that when people contest, obviously they're actually given, for example, enough resources, everybody's given a fair chance to win, and then they go into competition. But for you to suggest that some people must be ring-fenced in order that they can actually win the election because you want to maintain a certain number of, parliamentarians, in the chamber. I think it's really, unfortunate coming from someone as democratic as, Chairman Bonsu, Honorable Chairman Bonsu. I didn't actually expect that from him. I think that we have to deepen our democracy. And by so doing, we have to actually make it much more open, much more competitive, and much more exciting for people to believe that indeed we have democracy. It is almost like, someone arguing that their governance is so good that they must be allowed to actually run the third term, fourth term, etc., which has actually sent Africa nowhere. We shouldn't actually condone the idea that someone is so special that they should be ring-fenced to go into the election unopposed. I think it's undemocratic, and we don't expect that from someone like Honorable Chairman Bonsu.
So finally then, how does the party deal with the acrimony and the rancor that usually characterizes these, processes? So we know that in 2008, for example, 17 candidates, vied for the presidential candidate slots. Now we're having a number of individuals making their intent known. Boache Jaku, for example, Dr. Usefri Akoto, Alan Cash, all of these are in the running. The president has spoken about dealing with acrimony. The competition must be healthy. How should the NPP be strategizing and positioning themselves for this particular exercise?
Of course, every reasonable, every effective organization has structures, and I would think that the NPP, as an effective, party political organization, should have the necessary structures to deal with such acrimonies. I mean, you do not need, 2 years, 3 years to solve issues. If you're very effective, and if you're very efficient in what you do, you have the necessary structures. You should be able to, conduct elections, and whatever comes up after that, be able to resolve it within a very short period of time. It doesn't matter how many people contest. So long as people feel that they have been dealt with appropriately, i.e. they've been given a fair chance to contest, and afterwards they have been given fair chance to address their grievances, I'm sure they will be reasonable enough to accept the result, no matter how long it takes. So I don't think that it's a problem at all, given the number of people who will actually contest the elections. It's about the structures. If they make the structures work, people will be reasonable to accept the results.
Thank you. Dr. Kobe Mensah, the political marketing strategist, there speaking to us.
We're still staying with the NPP, as some leading members of the party have advocated an expansion of the Electoral College to deepen the decision-making process within the party. The national organizer, Sami Uku, and former Energy Minister, Boeche Jako, tell TV3 the amendment tabled before the party could only strengthen its structures to govern efficiently.
What do you think those sentiments are from the grassroots that need to be taken on board at this conference?
Well, clearly, I think that one, they believe that we have done a lot as a party. They want us to keep trumpeting these achievements. And they believe that even the biggest room in the world is the room for improvement. We need to also help them understand some of the programs and policies that we're rolling out. They are definitely on board the various initiatives of government. But what we also intend doing is to provide greater care for them as well. We do care for them. The party has been doing well in our own way, so has the government. But for us as leadership of the party, we will also continue to take greater care for our foot soldiers as well.
Particularly electing a flag bearer 2 years into the administration. What do you make of some of these proposals in the first place?
Well, I believe that the party really need to look at the current situation in which we find ourselves, taking cognizance of what happened in the last election, and to address issues that may have contributed to our poor performance. We need to strengthen democracy in our party. We have to expand the frontiers of democracy. So all our activities, particularly relating to elections, should be transparent, democratic, and open, so that people can accept in good faith if they win or lose. What has happened is such that there is a sense that there is some degree of capriciousness in deciding who runs on the polls, who goes for a challenge. We need to straighten that. We also need to expand the base of those that are participating in all these processes. I happen to believe that at the constituency level, all registered members of our party must vote to determine who becomes our MP or potential MP. Because the amount of seats that we lost in the last election can be attributed in part to this lack of transparency in the processes.
Here is the misfortune.
I want to welcome you all.
I have seen a 158-page document that is the gathering of all the ideas that came by. I have not seen the final product. So I must say that it is unfortunate that we are here at conference and the final document has not been seen by many. Article 18 of our Constitution also requires that this document ought to have gone back to the regions and to the constituencies for their final review before coming back to conference. That has not been done. So we are in a difficult process constitutionally. This matter of early Congress has always been mooted and shot down from 93. Every time. So why have we put something in our constitution with justification? And why are we trying to run away from it? Our argument was that you did not need to create a lame duck president early in the term, and that you ought to allow the sitting president a fuller term. The second argument to this was that you did not want a distraction by a newly elected presidential candidate who, after all, will be riding on the performance of the sitting president.
At the last National Executive Committee meeting, which I attended, the Constitutional Review Committee said they had received 99 proposals. And of course, you know, a constitution is a sacred document. You can't touch it just for touching's sake. It has to be something very drastic, very significant for us to agree to change a part of the constitution. And so constitutions sometimes can go decades without being touched. So 99 proposals, in the view of the NEC, was thought to be too large. But of course, this Congress is the largest body. What I do believe is that at the end of the day, the Congress or the conference will give the National Executive Committee the authority to go into the detail of it, because there have been a lot of proposals being bandied about, but most importantly, we have to look at the sanctity of our party's constitution. As it's presently constituted, I don't see anything wrong with that. I mean, 5 delegates at each polling station, amounting to close to what, 300,000 or 200,000 delegates voting. That will be the supreme will of the party people.
Well, the Vice President, Dr. Mahamudu Bawumia, in his address at the party's National Delegates Conference in the Ashanti region, listed initiatives introduced by governments geared towards transforming the economy through digitization. He was, however, silent on the controversial e-levy proposed in the 2022 budget.
Ours is a government that is thinking outside the box to transform Ghana. For the first time in our history, Ghana has successfully issued a digital national ID card. Ghana has implemented a digital property address system. About 88% of all the NCA licensed fiber optic investment that we have in Ghana, total investment of all of that, 8% of that was undertaken under the government of Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo. For the first time in our history, Ghana has mobile money interoperability. People may take this for granted, but when we came into office, the NDC was trying to implement this for $1.2 billion. We spent $4.5 million to implement mobile money interoperability. And by implementing mobile money interoperability, we have been able to create a digital economy. Total mobile money transactions in 2016 was 78 billion. By the end of this year, mobile money transactions will hit about 800 billion. This is what we mean by creating a digital economy. Last year, we were at 570 billion. For the first time in our history, any Ghanaian who has a national ID card can open a bank account just using their mobile phone. Over 80% of adults in Ghana have a tax identification number. When we came into office, it was just 4%.
And it wasn't just speeches at the NPP National Delegates Conference in Kumasi, as some business people took advantage to cash in. My colleague Ibrahim Abubakar has come through with the following report.
Well, the NPP's National Delegate Conference did not only serve as a platform for party members to take stock of their activities over the years, but also an opportunity for business operators to cash in. Talk about food vendors, those who are selling party paraphernalia, those who are even selling footwears and smoke and other business activities. Let's engage some of them and find out how business has been for them today.
Even though we have made some sales, but how we're expecting it, it's not booming as expected. We're expecting that because Christmas is, at the corner, the purchase will be too high. You understand? But upon all that, but we thank God because we have made some sales since yesterday. We have been selling. But as I told you, we're expecting that because Christmas is at the corner, we'll sell more and more. But upon all that, we make some sales.
Our business in the airport, Japan. Because everybody wants me to in NASA. And you're quite a bit better. Japan.
It is not all that moving, but we expect that it will pick up. I can't really tell whether it's because many of them are yet inside or whatever the case may be, but the market is not all that good.
It's been a mixed reaction, and for some of them, sales were better in the previous years than today. But in all, they've been able to make something for themselves. Ibrahim Abubakar, TV3 News, Kumasi.
You're still watching News 360 from the News Hub here at Adisawe Kanda in Accra. If you stay with us, after this break, we'll bring you a lot more stories.
I'm going to interview Zuzum right here in my house. Hey!
Look up there. Why are you using inferior pen?
It was a mistake. I no check.
Acrobat, I'm going to knock you out.
I know, sir.
You deserve quality.
Don't make mistakes. Stop.
You did the right thing.
When you are going to buy a paint, don't look left, don't look right. Go straight and grab the luxury acrylic paint. No be any paint, be paint.
The luxury acrylic paint.
Paint me champion.
Can you picture? Jack, I don't know.
Is that not your wife?
Every time your children are falling sick, you don't have money.
Stop! Everyone! Baby! What's the TV for tonight? You know I like that sweet-scented insecticide spray. Let's be on the porch. Now do we have pretty living room hall? Bedroom what do you hear? Me love you, me baby. Of course, I take very good care of my wife and children. So I always win. If you want to protect your family against mosquitoes, there's still this sweet scented perfume coil now. I repel mosquitoes. I know a man who say baby. And the spray also sweet scented. It kills all crawling and flying insects. Heaven insecticide. Oh, sharp no. Prevention is always better than Bessesaka or Heaven insecticide spray. And in the coil, if you say heaven dear.
This advertisement has been vetted and approved by the FDA.
We were totally crushed when our child was diagnosed with cancer.
We knew we just couldn't afford the treatment. And then he came to our rescue through the Camel antiseptic liquid because we care initiative.
Join us again to fight childhood cancer. All you have to do is to buy Camel antiseptic liquid, and we will use 10 pesos to support the Because We Care initiative to help a child with cancer. Give 10 pesos, give hope. This advert is FDA approved.
My name is Kanita Abdurrahman and I'm coming from Tema Community 25 and I won 10,000 Ghana cedis and I'm so excited about that. I'm going to invest it into my business.
95,000 plus 1,000 plus 1,000. I'm a do 5,000 Ghana cedis.
I won 2,000 Ghana cedis.
Oh, Ngwini, Akpenumu, come here me.
I'm a proud winner of a 1,000 Ghana cedi in the ongoing Airtel Tigo Tugumiso promo.
Tugumiso.
Airtel Tigo. Life is simple.
nature essentials, charcoal, and lemon essence restores natural white teeth, herbal extract for strong teeth and healthy gums, antibacterial toothpaste that protects you and your family, because every smile matters.
I love football. Football can be a dirty game, on or off the pitch. Even when I'm trying to score at a party, stains find a way of tracking me down. But I don't worry at all, because I have Cleansoft. Use new Cleansoft 360 Deep Clean, a unique formula with active ingredients and enzymes that gets rid of all stubborn stains and leaves your clothes smelling wonderful. Cleansoft, my favorite. Cleansoft 360 Deep Clean, clean all.
Electromart sells brand new and authentic brands only, like LG, Sony, Broom, Samsung, Panasonic, Philips, Midea, TCL, Orient, Tamashi, Solatech, Kaiser, and a lot more. Now, this is what customers say about Electromart.
I shop at Electromart because they offer guarantee and warranties on any product you buy from here.
Electromart sells quality product and they offer excellent after-sales service support.
Electromart, your world of electronics.
Welcome back. Let's look at some more stories tonight. And family of a 37-year-old NDC polling agent killed during the elections in the Ododo-Diodio constituency say the Member of Parliament has promised to fund the education of the 3-year-old son he left behind until he turns 18. It follows the broadcast of a TV3 feature, Killed in an Election and Forgotten, in which they had lamented neglect. Meanwhile, the NDC has reiterated it will conduct full-scale investigations into the electoral violence that left at least 6 party supporters dead and others maimed.
According to the party, the deaths of the 6 during the elections remain a blot on Ghana's democracy. Deputy General Secretary Dr. Peter Boama Otokuno, during a commemorative one-year vigil for the deceased, was emphatic a future NDC government will ensure the matter is not swept under the carpet.
It's important to re-echo that crime does not have any expiry date. And no matter how long it takes, the NDC is going to launch a full-scale investigation into these heinous crimes, and those who committed the crimes will be brought to book. We are very optimistic about that.
One of the victims of a bloody December 2020 election was 37-year-old Emmanuel Dompre, a polling agent in the Ododo-Diodio constituency. His father, Samuel Ofori Dompre, told me during the making of TV3's latest feature, Killed in an Election and Forgotten, they had been neglected by the party. However, during an event to mark 1 year of the incidents, father of a slain activist said the MP for the constituency has assured his office would fund the education of a 3-year-old son of a late polling agent.
About 1 year, about washing. MPs
The MP has come together with other party executives at the national level during the 1-year commemoration to pledge to fund the boys' education. We are grateful.
He added all the outstanding issues have now been resolved.
We wish the MP well going forward.
Emmanuel Dompre was one of 2 persons who were killed during the hugely contentious polls in December in the Ododo-Diodio constituency. Away from politics, lack of an X-ray machine at the Salaga Government Hospital for the past 2 years is affecting healthcare delivery there. Some patients who required X-ray services and had to travel outside Salaga lost their lives through a motor accident. Our Savannah regional correspondent Christopher Amako has been engaging their relatives.
This is not the only family that has lost a relative as a result of the lack of an X-ray machine at the Salaga Government Hospital. There are several others who have also been victims of this situation, whereas others have also been maimed for life.
I have come to the family of late Rowena, a woman who recently died through a car accident when she was traveling to Tamale to access X-ray services. Her son, Mohamed Laminu, who was traveling with her for the X-ray service in Tamale, narrates to the news team the circumstances leading to her death.
My mother suffered a broken leg and I took her to the Salaga Government Hospital. We were referred to Tamale for X-ray services because the one in Salaga, we're told, hasn't been functional. We were involved in an accident on our way to Tamale for the X-ray and my mother died. It is sad.
He described the death of his mother as the outcome of a failed health system.
It saddens me that a big hospital like the Salaga Hospital has no X-ray machine. Loads of people have died from referrals and authorities must act fast.
For Alhaji Sani Kampala, the victim of same situation, said the Salaga Hospital is too big to be without an X-ray machine.
Look at me now. Because of an X-ray service, I nearly died through an accident. I appeal to all Ghanaians to help us.
So this is the faulty X-ray machine at the Salaga Government Hospital. This machine, I'm told, has not been functioning for the past 2 to 3 years, forcing hospital authorities to refer cases that require X-ray attention to Tamale and Yeji.
Hospital authorities who spoke off camera told the news team that they do not have money to procure a new X-ray machine. The East Gonja Municipal Chief Executive, Richard Brony, who was on a working visit to the hospital as at the time of visit by the news team, assured the assembly will immediately take the matter up. He also called on other philanthropic individuals and organizations to support in that direction.
We heard for some time now the hospital is working without an X-ray, which is very vital to the healthcare of the people. So the assembly will support in that direction. And as such,
Goal 3 of the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals talks about good health and well-being by 2030. To achieve this, access to health infrastructure must be a matter of concern.
3.6 million Ghanaians, representing 12% of the population, are food insecure. This was contained in a comprehensive food security and vulnerability analysis from 65,000 households sampled across 260 districts of the country.
The 2020 Comprehensive Food Security and Vulnerability Analysis was spearheaded by the Ghana Statistical Service in partnership with the World Food Programme, the Food and Agriculture Organization and the World Bank. The report revealed Upper East, Northeast, Northern, Upper West and Savannah regions are the most food insecure regions in the country, with the Kasena Nankana West district being the most food insecure district in the country. Coordinator for the project, Dr. Peter Tachipepra, indicated the Ashanti, Central and Greater Accra regions have the least percentage of food insecurity in the country.
Tricky part of it is taking 6.2 or 6.4% of people in Ashanti, maybe even more than 50% of people living in Upper East. So I would advise that if we are targeting, we shouldn't just look at the percentages to target and provide interventions or support, but rather we should look at absolute numbers and where the people are located.
Country Director of the World Food Programme, Barbara Clements, noted some key interventions the World Food Programme is implementing to curb food insecurity in the country.
We've come to the conclusion that those finite distributions of food and cash is not going to solve the systemic food insecurity, and it's not going to build resilience against shock. We're going to be providing technical assistance to the government that will affect policy engagement, that will perhaps, I think, meet the food needs of many more people than just finite food distributions of cash or food at this point.
She called on key stakeholders to be proactive in the approach to help tackle food insecurity.
Now, Ghana stands the chance to regain all colonial artifacts looted by the West 86 years ago. Head of the United Nations Education, Scientific and Cultural Organization, UNESCO in Ghana, Abdurrahmani Diallo, said dialogue is ongoing with the hoarding countries to facilitate prompt return of the artifacts.
Locally manufactured artifacts looted in 1935 and displayed in museums in some Western countries have sparked concerns among stakeholders in Ghana's tourism industry. Majority of the items looted by the colonial masters were from the Ashanti Kingdom. For some stakeholders, the artifacts, which are representations of Ghana's national heritage, must be returned to boost revenue generation for the tourism industry. Head of UNESCO in Ghana, Abdurrahmani Diallo, said moves have been initiated to move all looted artifacts belonging to Ghana returned.
On the issue of the return of artifacts and cultural objects that were looted and or that were objects of illicit traffic, also UNESCO is helping the government, notably through the convention that we call the 1970 conventions, and we capacitate the technical entities in the countries, governments, and give platform also for a dialogue between those who holds them to their countries or museums and the country to dialogue to prepare their return back in their country. So this is the works we do also with the museums and Ghana Monument and Museum Board.
Meanwhile, the Ministry of Tourism, Culture and Creative Arts in association with the Ghana Heritage Committee have launched a 7-year multi-stakeholder heritage strategic framework to streamline activities, projects and preserve existing national heritage resources. Deputy Sector Minister Marco Kreku said the policy document is apt.
This Heritage Strategic Plan framework comes at the exact and opportune time and would serve as a major accelerator to the Ministry of Tourism, Art and Culture's vision of positioning tourism to generate $5 billion USD receipts per annum, as well as bringing in 2 million tourists and creating over 200,000 direct plus 400,000 indirect jobs, which to a large extent is based on the country's rich and unique heritage resources.
Sites including the Mole and Kakum National Parks, which are on the UNESCO tentative heritage list, will be given priority.
It's now time for sports with Aniela Lote.
UMB was established in 1972 as the premier bank for the corporate and private sector in Ghana. From our very beginning, as the only Ghanaian bank serving all categories of businesses, we set a standard for excellence and innovation over the past 45 years. We've built a financially healthy and strong bank, demonstrated our commitment to our customers and to growing businesses, and exhibited originality and innovation at every turn. At UMB, our focus is built around people, service, products and technology. These are the key to our present success and our future triumphs. At UMB, we're poised to make a difference not only with our customers, but also in the banking industry. We invite you to share in our future. Our future starts now with you.
The groom is sick.
What?
Malaria.
Malaria. Lufat. Lufat.
Injija woman malaria enka won to them. Lufat, malaria drop a cup.
And now you may kiss the bride.
Entrance Pharmaceuticals and Research Center. And I Lufat. Lufat. A two malaria sententem. FDA.
Whenever Princess starts, the neighbors do complain that her voice and the beats are too loud. Who is scared of the voices of tomorrow's superstars?
You special in your way. It's me, like no other. No one else can do it like you. It's me.
That must be a neighbor.
You special in your way. It's me. Like no other. No one else can do it like you. It's me. Like no other.
Here's to all amazing moms who identify and nurture the uniqueness in our kids.
Indomie instant noodles tastes great. This advert is FDA approved.
Introducing new Sunlight 2-in-1. It gives you burst, after burst, after burst of long-lasting freshness. New Sunlight 2-in-1 for burst after burst of long-lasting freshness.
Is brought to you by
Kel Kids Toothpaste. Consolidated Bank Ghana, CBG.
It's time for sports on News 360. I am Aniela Alote. We begin with the Ghana Premier League. And after 2 draws and a loss in previous fixtures, Kumasi Asante Kotoko pulled a 2-1 victory against Legon Cities, with Frank Ituga stealing the show with a brace.
But Kotoko still putting tabs on their opponents. This is Frank, and it's the first goal for Kotoko.
I mean, here, we see the header. Look at the connection again. The header from...
Start again from the bench for Kotoko. Razak Abalora lost that completely, and Lagos Cities are back in the game.
I mean, there was no danger whatsoever here, but Razak Abalora shed late with a punch and the header.
Stephen Amankuna would love to go down the byline, sends in the decent cross, and that is the second goal for Kotoko.
Just look at when Amankuna got onto the ball, how quick he was with that cross, and the vision excellently done, and just look at the finish.
Still on the Ghana Premier League, let's look at some other results from game week 9. Idiana Stars are getting comfortable at the top of the table following a 3-2 victory over Berekum Chelsea. Real Tamale United climbed to 6th place after a 2-0 win against Elmina Sharks. For Ashanti Gold and Accra Great Olympics, it was a goalless draw. Elsewhere, West Africa Football Academy can't breathe a sigh of relief as they triumphed over Mediama with a 1-0 result, their second win of the season. Then on Tuesday, King Faisal is expected to take on Dreams FC. Executive committee members of the Confederation of African Football have just voted that the 2022 African Cup of Nations should go ahead as planned during a meeting today. Meanwhile, FIFA President Gianni Infantino is insisting that the tournament be cancelled. The Total Energies Africa Cup of Nations will be played from 9 January to 6 February 2022 in Cameroon, and the Black Stars of Ghana are based in Group C with Morocco, Gabon and Comoros for the continental competition. Proceeding to the English Premier League, Manchester City cruised to a 4-0 victory over Newcastle United at St James's Park, and they are now 3 points clear of Liverpool, who had a 2-2 draw to contend with when they faced Liverpool.
Whiling away the time ahead of a novelty fight night at the Bukum Square. The ring was set and the gears were ready as the kids whet their appetite for the moment. 17 boxing clubs were built for the night, leading to a recruitment process. 3 minutes of total fighting time was enough to assess the fitness levels of the kids and to challenge them towards a bigger goal. The Bessesaka Project combines boxing, education and leadership to unlock the full potential of students on scholarship. Boxing trainer Carl Loco expressed optimism about the future.
With what they are doing, I'm so happy because some of them are doing something so special. To me, when I see a talent, I can see it. I can see a lot of them doing their best in the ring now. So that tells you that in some few years to come, we're going to have great boxers.
Self-discipline, respect and self-esteem are some of the benefits from the incredible sport of boxing. And these little ones know the importance of the skills and life values. James Naughty was not surprised at the work rate and intensity of a showmanship by the kids.
They've been training so hard and so well, and definitely we have some great future ahead of us. Great kids, great fighters, and the future is exciting.
At first glance, boxing for kids may sound dangerous, but when you really delve into the incredible benefits, signing your kid up is a no-brainer.
That will be all for sports this evening. I am Aniela Alute. For more news and updates, it's 3 Sports GH on all social media platforms.
Tell of you are going to Spain with your partners to enjoy a VIP La Liga experience,
including a stay at a plush hotel, boat cruises, city tours, and more.
Just buy any sachet of Gino, Pomo, or Gino Pepper and Onion, or Gino Max. Look for a code inside the sachet or tray. Dial the short code to *161* in a code hash and start accumulating points.
The more your points,
the bigger your win. Take it to Barcelona, Spain.
Flat screen TV sets,
PS5,
washing machines,
La Liga original jerseys,
footballs and caps,
smart mobile phones and free call credits can also be won bi-weekly.
Accumulate more points
to win more prizes.
Spain promotion.
This advert is FDA approved.
We ask Orca customers, why do you shop at Orca?
Okay, so for me, it's a no-brainer because I can easily find everything that I need right here in Orca. I mean, look at this, feels luxurious but yet affordable. So that's my reason.
There are thousands of reasons to shop at Orca.
And for me, this is why I shop with Orca.
Visit our new store and find yours.
Mama!
Meow.
And I can't stand it!
Just a moment. And now power, huh?
Yeah!
Oh, yeah, Jack Macron, no more. It's your Chanaka there. Harry, you contumbre. What a clean tomato sauce, only a baby. And a passiding for box with salad. I will stew and a jollofa. Never to the one that don't know it though. Up to that. And the ball of ya, or made to bunny a doa. You want a pass sauce, check for you, sir. Oh, more tasty. And a pub big beans for the breakfast. Let's all a salad in the mom. Oh, she and a patuna. We can puffle. Let's all a salad in the mom. Oh, taste good. And a pan on dairy creamer. 4 box with so see oats, not cremitino. You and a spaghetti. Talia Papa B. Mansunin Sijadu Re. Nafa and a spaghetti no gum. Who and a pataliano are you ready for watching on you with you?
Dem de ruboyi FDA ahwehwem ajatum.
You're welcome back. Thanks for staying with us. Let's now discover the latest news making headlines beyond Ghana's borders.
Have joined mass protests over the military's takeover as they mark the 3rd anniversary of a popular uprising, amid security forces responding with tear gas. Demonstrations in 2019 led to the overthrow of Sudan's long-term authoritarian president Umar al-Bashir. Civilian and military leaders then entered an uneasy power-sharing agreement until the coup in October. Last month, the country's ousted Prime Minister Abdallah Hamdok was reinstated after being put under house arrest in the military takeover. But the move has failed to stop protests in the country, where demonstrators have been calling for an entirely civilian political leadership. On Sunday, protesters marched towards the presidential palace in Khartoum, which is home to coup leader General Abdel Fattah al-Burhan, chanting, "The people are stronger and retreat is impossible." They also called for General Burhan's downfall. The Netherlands entered a strict new lockdown Sunday due to fears over the Omicron coronavirus variant, and the UK's health minister wouldn't rule out further restrictions as Europe braces for a surge in COVID-19 infections over the usually busy festive period. Indoor gatherings in the Netherlands will now be limited to a maximum of 2 guests per household until at least mid-January. The number is extended slightly around Christmas and New Year's Eve to 4 guests. Non-essential shops, hospitality venues and cultural institutions will also be closed, while schools will remain shut until at least January 9. The Netherlands had already been battling a fresh wave of COVID-19 cases before the Omicron strain reached its shores last month. Some experts are now predicting it will become the dominant variant in the country before the end of the year. Elsewhere in Europe, there is a looming sense of dread that despite the vaccine rollout, this year's Christmas will look a lot like 2020 as Omicron spreads at a phenomenal rate in parts of the continent. Member nations of the Organization of Islamic Cooperation are holding a special meeting in Pakistan's capital, Islamabad, to discuss solutions to address the humanitarian crisis in neighboring Afghanistan. Envoys from 57 Islamic nations and observer delegations gathered on Sunday for the biggest conference on Afghanistan since the United States-backed government in Kabul fell in August. After the Taliban lightning returned to power, billions of dollars in aid and assets were frozen by the international community, plunging the nation of 38 million into the worst hunger crisis since records began. Pakistani officials said a total of 70 delegations were taking part, including Taliban Foreign Minister Mullah Amir Khan and delegates from the US, China, Russia, the European Union and the United Nations.
That'll be our show for tonight. Here came to you from a news hub at Adisawe Kanda in Accra. Right after us is TV3 Mentor X's Eviction Night. I am Komla.
My name is Aisha Yakubu Halid. Have a good evening.
There are many ways to get around, but there's only one way to pay.
Momo?
Sure. So many styles to choose, but there's only one sure way to pay.
Momo? Yes.
There's so many you can buy, but there's only one sure way to pay.
Momo? Yes.
that to shame my enemy.
There's so much variety, but there's only one sure way to pay. There's so many ways to get together, but there's only one sure way to pay. Got a payment to make? Use MTN Momo and enjoy real convenience in all your financial transactions. Live life the brighter way with MTN Momo. Just Momo it. We day for you, everywhere you go.
See, you gotta have a smile, no matter what it takes. Then you gotta take perk down, love the way it tastes. Feel the perky buzz from your toes to your face. You gotta take perk down, perky it today. Say oh, 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 oh. You gotta take perk down, perky it today. Say oh, 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 oh. You gotta take perk down, perky it today. Say oh, 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 oh. You gotta take perk down, perky it today.
Perk up anywhere, even at home, with the rich milky taste of Peck biscuits. This advert is FDA approved.